Oh my goodness. I stay doing that. I don't be meaning to. Make sure that you can hear me. Turn it up. Welcome in, welcome in. If you are watching live, make sure you comment live. If you are watching replay, make sure you comment replay. This is going to be a mini class session. We are getting into the brain, okay? If you have noticed, and if you have been here this whole entire time, you have noticed that we have been doing a March Live series, and today and tomorrow will actually be the last part of the series. So if you've been around this entire series, I really appreciate it. And stay along, stay just for 2 more, okay? We're gonna wrap it up real soon. I'm gonna get started. Just want to throw that in there for those who is coming in for the replay. For the live, I'm making sure people come in. Get themselves on in here. Okay. So I'm just let people roll in here. Y'all like the live, comment, you know, do what you do, take a seat. Okay. So we are going to get into prefrontal cortex. Okay, that is a certain part of the brain. I want to talk about this certain part of the brain because it is a part that we use daily. Okay, a lot of people don't know the certain terms of our brains, so it is important to share this knowledge. Okay, and I'm going to share this knowledge with you as a brand strategist and leadership mentor who definitely speaks on mindset. Okay, so let's get into it. Prefrontal cortex. If you watch it live, make sure you come in live. If you watch the replay, make sure you come and replay. This is class. Do not come out live and play around. Okay, make sure you have your notebook out. If you don't, please exit. If you're not interested, please exit. Okay, so the prefrontal cortex, that is the frontal part of our brain. Okay, that is one main part that we definitely use. Okay, and let's get into how. All right, so when it comes to planning, when it comes to decision making, memory, like being able to show your personality, like our prefrontal cortex, part of our brain is what shapes us as a human being. Okay, this what shows us who we are. This what shows us how we act, how we react, our emotions, how we control our decision making, and how we control our emotions as well. So the prefrontal cortex part of the brain is very important because we use it every day. Now, this part of the brain also do not develop until a certain age. So if you are under the age of 25, don't worry if you haven't mastered this part of the brain yet. Don't worry if you haven't touched part of, you know, really honing in on controlling your emotional regulation, your emotional intelligence, okay, your self-awareness, all of that, self-assurance, all of that, okay. It's okay because once you hit 25 and older, you will start to develop deeper into, you know, changing. Okay, you will get, you know, more develop into understanding emotional intelligence, and even if you haven't, then that means that you should go ahead and start learning, okay? And this is why I am sharing this knowledge with you, because if you are someone who wants to learn, you are someone who wants to change. I'm definitely speaking to elite women, high performing women, decision makers. So this is very important, okay? Because as a decision maker, this is something that we use every day, nonstop, okay? This certain part of our brain, the prefrontal cortex, okay? Make sure you're taking notes. So emotional regulation, right? In managing your emotions, okay? So, okay, let's talk about business, right? When you are in business, say you have a bookstore, or say that you have a storefront, and a client comes in or a customer comes in, you could tell that they're kind of moody. You could tell that they probably didn't have a good day themselves, okay? But you're good, you're bubbly, your business is doing good. And of course, a customer is coming into your business, so you already feel uplifted, you feel good, and you make sure that when they come up, their order is correct and things of that nature. But for some reason, they are so moody and they're trying to pick a fight with you, okay? This is the time where you pull out, okay, how should I react? How should I take this moment to control my emotions and take this situation in a new direction? Are you going to crash out as a manager, or are you going to be a leader and try to calmly direct the situation? Okay, so when it comes to that, you are going to be using the prefrontal cortex part of your brain. Okay, and when you sit there and you analyze situations, even through conflict, you analyze it and you can figure out how to redirect, hostile situations that can be going different directions when it's probably bad, or just when the situation doesn't feel right, and that you can switch it around. Do that, okay? Definitely when you feel like something is triggering you, when you feel like something is about to trigger your emotions, your anxiety, your sadness, your anger, that is when you tap into your prefrontal cortex and you try to master and control your emotions, okay? Figuring out what is triggering your anger, what is making you feel anxiety, okay? So that's part of the emotional intelligence of using the prefrontal cortex part of your brain, okay? Now, when it comes to planning, so how do you plan? So when it comes to business and you are a high performer, right? Your planning should have structure in it, okay? Structure. What does structure mean? Structure is something that we use every day, okay? Even if you can't stick to a routine, you need to have some type of structure, okay? Some type of structure, okay? Because I know sometimes you can't stick to a routine, but if you can at least stick to a certain type of path, you can at least stick to something for a good moment, that will help you start to plan in clarity. Definitely in clarity, because anything, if you want to plan with great intentions and with a great direction, you definitely want to have clarity, okay? So the prefrontal part of your brain is part of planning, okay? How do you plan? How do you create your planning schedule, okay? That is very important. So going back to your personality, when I said that the prefrontal cortex part of your brain also shapes you as a human, okay? That shapes us, because again, it shows us the way that we control our emotions. It shows us the way that we think, and it shows us the way that we can remember things. It shows us the way that we socialize. Everything, like, that part of our brain is everything, okay? Everything. So when it comes to shaping us as humans, our self-awareness, empathy, motivation, what motivates us, okay? We have to stick to that. You figure out what you do when it comes to your motivation, okay? Do you need music? Do you need to listen to other people? Do you need to hire a coach? You do what you do, okay? You don't judge nobody else on how they need to figure out how to get motivated, okay, to master their emotions. All right, you stay in your lane and they stay in their lane. Okay. Um. So yep, I talked about that. If you're watching live, make sure you comment live. If you're watching replay, make sure you comment replay. We are talking about the prefrontal cortex part of the brain, which is the front part of the brain. Okay. If you want to grow and master your emotional intelligence, this is something that you definitely want to listen to and take note on, because this is a part of the brain that we mainly use every single day, non-stop. Okay. My tablet froze, y'all. Okay, my tablet is tripping. Let's get into the skills, okay? I don't know what's going on with my tablet right now. So when you know and understand that you are mastering, or you are at least using your prefrontal part of your brain, it comes with the attention. Okay, so when I say structure, and when I told you how are you able to focus on a path? Okay, that is what I mean. So when it comes into planning, when it comes to your focus, your attention, how long can you focus? Okay, how long can you focus on a certain situation, on a certain subject, object, whatever? Okay. um oh, it didn't push my notes up now. And then, oh man. So planning, going back to planning, okay? Planning for the future. How do you plan? Okay, coming to decision making. When it comes to your business, how are you planning? How are you making decisions? If you have a team, what who is taking lead in your team? Okay, is it you all the time? Does someone else in your team take lead, and then you observe, and then okay, you say, okay, now I'm going to take lead and I'm going to start saying something? Like, how do you take lead, and what decisions do you make when it comes to your team decision making as well? So how do you make decisions individually, and how do you make decisions as a team? Okay. And when you do these different separations, because when you think individually, it's going to be different than the way you think as a team. Okay. Of course, you still show your thoughts, you still show your creativity when you are teaming up with someone, but sometimes you're going to have to delegate and tweak your decisions when it comes from moving from individuality to moving into a team. Okay, because you want to make sure that your decisions and your creativity is also fitting in with what your team is doing. Okay. Of course, make sure everyone is definitely throwing out their creativity and what they can do within your team, because that's the best teamwork. Okay, when everybody is doing what they know what they can do best, and as being the boss, you can outline and analyze who needs to be where. Once you can do that as a leader, your team will be able to lead all together. Okay, so this is important, definitely, if you are running a team. Okay, not just individually, but as a team leader as well. All right. um because again, when you develop yourself and grow as an individual person, you are better to show up when it is time for team connection. Okay. So as I'm sharing this knowledge with you, even if some of you already know this part of your brain, even if you know some of this knowledge, great. But here's a reminder, okay? And if you don't, it's perfect to know this, and it's perfect that you definitely go ahead and make sure that you start to focus more on your emotions. Okay. Focus more on your emotions. Because your emotions will allow how you react to decisions. Okay. Because when you think from whether your mind, your heart, or your gut, whichever way, however you move through a decision, it's going to also come with an emotion. So how do you feel when you make that decision? Okay, always analyze when you make decisions. Okay, analyze where they're good, analyze the lessons, analyze the growth. What could you done? What could you have done better? Analyze. You're always going to want to be able to analyze. Okay, and that's where it comes into planning. All right, planning and analyzing, putting that together is going to help you grow as a better leader. Okay, um being flexible, understanding how you are able to adapt. Okay, so you are in this position, but you know something unexpectedly is coming, and now you have to move over here to this position. Boom. Your emotions going to have to be able to control itself. Your self-awareness is going to have to be it's going to have to be like that. Okay, you're going to have to be able to move through different situations and still be able to lead yourself through the situation. Okay, ask questions. Don't ever be afraid to ask questions. Okay, because the more clarity that you have, the more confidence that you will have. Okay, when you are going through different situations. All right. So make sure you hold that flexibility. Make sure, what did I say? You control your emotions. You make sure you focus on your emotions as well so you can make better decisions, okay? And then when it comes to your planning, I'm mad my iPad is like really freezing on me right now. This is not the right time. And it's slowing me down. Oh my gosh. If you're watching live, make sure you comment live. If you watch replay, make sure you comment replay. Okay. Oh my god. This is not the right time for my iPad to be freezing right now, y'all. Okay, I don't know what's going on. It ain't trying to let me see my notes. Look, okay. Let me try to remember what I have and do a little bit of freestyling. So, how can you strengthen your prefrontal cortex? Okay, so when I go into coming back to making sure that you focus on your emotions, okay? Make sure that you step back and you analyze your emotions, okay? Because that is how you're going to be able to grow, all right? Because if you know and you notice, okay, I'm not going to go to this place because I notice it don't make my soul feel right, okay? I don't want to be around this person because they make me feel like I got anxiety or they give me bad vibes. Like, you have to know, okay? And don't be afraid to just step away, all right? Because that is what's going to control your emotions and your self-awareness. You have to be self-aware, okay? And if something throws you off, everything will be off. So in order for you to stay on track, you need to be able to be self-aware. Okay, so make sure that you are focusing on the things around you, the energy around you, the space around you, and who you have around you. Okay, and always try to stay alert. That is definitely how you can strengthen this part of your brain, is making sure that you stay alert. Making sure that you stay focused on your emotions. Okay. Let me see, this is color for me. Let me see. No. It is not working. Okay, whatever. My iPad is not working right now. That is crazy. Okay. So when it comes to emotional intelligence, you want to be able to definitely master this, because when it comes to definitely in business space, definitely if you run your own business, you want to know how to control different situations, okay? You want to be able to hold yourself together as a leader when you need to show up for your team, because definitely as a team leader, You're going to have different emotions every day anyways. So you need to be able to pull yourself together and show up for the team. Okay? If somebody over here already come in, they got a bad day, they don't understand how to control their emotions, cool. You do. All right? So you go talk to them, you go boost them up, you go tell them, yeah, you know, let's do this. We're going to have a great day today. I'm on your team. This is exactly why we are a team. You have to be able as a team leader to push your team as well. Okay, you can't just be coming up to work, you can't just be showing up to your team and don't show them no type of team effort. Okay, so you want to be able to be that team leader where you are able to, as an individual, to master your emotional intelligence, to master your social skills, to master the way you communicate, to master your self-awareness. Okay, strengthen these areas. So when it's time to be a team leader, you know how to show up, not just individually, but as a team leader. That's a whole different story. Okay, but also, because when you do need to show up as a team leader, you're showing up with other people, which means you don't want to blend in with them. You want to be able to shine out. Okay, so you can still be in a team and still be the one to shine throughout the team. Okay, you don't have to overshadow and overshine anyone else, but you are still able to have your specific shine within that team. Okay, if you're special at something, let you be the number one person on that board to be special for something. If the other team member is special for something, let them have it. Like, as a team, you have to let people know when they can have it. Okay, if you're great at emailing and they're not, but they're great at social media marketing, let them have it. And they should let you have email marketing. Like, you have to know how to come together as a team. Use your making sure that y'all come together, delegate, shoot creative ideas to each other, so that way when you do have creative block, because when you do have creative block, it does put you in an emotional state. Okay, when you get objections, when you get no's, it does put you in an emotional state. When your house is a mess, when you have personal things going on, it puts you in an emotional state. I get it. I get it. Trust me, I do. But when it comes down to understanding and preparing yourself through these situations, you know that, okay, even if I show this emotion now, I know I need to suck it up later so I can show up. Not for myself, but maybe for others. Maybe for my children. Maybe for my team. Maybe for my husband. Whoever, whatever. Okay? But make sure that you take this time to develop these moments for yourself. Okay? Develop these parts of your brain. Help yourself improve and strengthen these parts of yourself. Okay? This is a part of self-discovery. This is a part of self-discovery. Mindset, mindset, mindset. You cannot leave out mindset if you are trying to grow. You cannot leave out the shadow work if you are trying to grow. Shadow work, understanding the deep fears, getting down to the deep truths of everything. If you want to grow, that is where you have to go. Period. So, put it to you like that. That's how it is. Okay? Mindset is very, very important. Okay? Look at the monks, right? They meditate almost majority of their time. And that is very important, and I see why. Because the mind needs to calm. Okay? The mind needs peace. The mind doesn't need chaos every moment, every second of the day. You have to know when to calm the mind so you are able to think clearly. So you are able to plan with a clear mindset. So you are able to make clear decisions. Okay? Everything like that ties into play together. Mindset. Part of the mindset, and that's why I wanted to get deep into mindset of a certain part of the brain, which is the prefrontal cortex part of the brain. Okay, because I don't want to just keep throwing out to you mindset, mindset, mindset. No, I want to get deeper into it so you can understand what part of the mind, okay, that I want you to understand that you are using, the one that you need to strengthen. Okay, because if I'm going to tell you to level up and I'm going to tell you to grow, I'm going to tell you where. Okay, and that is where the prefrontal cortex part of the brain. That is where. That's what you are using. That is what you are going to fully develop once you hit 25 and older. So again, if you are not around this age, don't beat yourself up. But you can go ahead, if you are watching this under the age of 25, if you are watching this, you can definitely go ahead and start focusing on strengthening this part of the brain, because you already know, and preparing yourself for the future. You are preparing yourself that you know this is going to come into play when you hit 25. Okay, see me, I'm an Aquarius, so I be ahead. I stay ahead. Okay, so this is me putting you ahead. I don't want to hear nothing. Nothing. Okay, I'm putting you ahead. So get into the prefrontal cortex part of the mindset. Get clarity, have clarity, sit with yourself, get stillness, get quietness. Okay, for you to be able to have that self-trust, building that self-trust. If you did not watch that live, make sure you go watch that live. The subconscious mind of God. See, I'm always talking about the mind, okay, because that is what controls us. Without the mind, we are nothing. We are nothing without our minds. So yes, every chance, every way, I'm going to talk about the mindset. Okay. um hmm. Ooh, I was thirsty. Every chance, every time, I'm going to make sure I talk about the mindset, because as a woman, we definitely need to make sure that our minds are together. Okay, because as a woman of color, our ancestors' mindset was not there. We've been through a lot. So as my goal, as my ancestors' journey, I'm going to walk through them. Well, they're pretty much walking through me. Okay, but I'm going to use my voice to make sure that women in today's age is growing. Okay, and not just growing externally, but growing internally as well, because internally is what is going to mask the external. Okay, and not masking as in fake fluff bullshit. Okay, enough of that. We need to mask authenticity, realness, original. Okay, so I really love to get deep into in the internal. Okay, because people forget about the internal. I don't understand why. Okay, like, don't forget about the internal. I don't care how much you can look on the outside, but if that inside ain't good, you is rotten in and out. Okay, so I don't care how beautiful you did your makeup. I don't care how what $1,000, $10,000 shirt, pants, whatever you have on. If the inside is rotten, the outside is as well. Okay, so don't mask it up. Don't try to put a mask on it, put a shade on it, whatever you want to call it. Don't do that. Okay, get deep into mindset work, get deep into growing that, getting clarity, having space and growing space, allowing space in your mind to grow. Okay, to make that decision is a part of the prefrontal cortex. Like, this is why I wanted to talk about this part of the brain, because you can't get away from it. You cannot get away from it. It's literally everything we do and use. Okay, Excuse me. So, let me see. Ooh. I was just trying to, so if you have any questions, if you have any input, any opinions that you want to drop back, make sure you comment below. If you want to get deeper into mindset work, leadership work, you will want some one-on-one intensive leadership support guidance with me. Okay. I do have openings for the Leadership Mastery Collective, 6 weeks, one-on-one, personalized mentoring. Okay. We will be getting deep into getting over perfectionism. Okay. If you are someone who wants everything to be perfect to the T, that makes you almost not get nothing done, we're going to get over that. Okay, we're going to help you clear the mind of just going and getting through the process, and things will get better, okay, as you go. But again, everybody in their perfectionism state is differently. So where you are now and how you feel, we will discuss that. Okay, and what comes over you when you are feeling that way. Okay, what positions are you in when you feel that way? We're going to get into it. We're going to get deep into it. We're going to go overcoming. We're going to overcome it. Excuse me. And then what else? Honing in on your leadership voice. Okay, making sure that you are showing up confidently, making sure that you are showing up on camera. Okay, making sure that you are using your writing skills. Everything, like, your voice is everything. That is the power of you. Okay, so, but you can't be just out here talking about any and everything nonsense. Okay, I know people love the negativity, but if you are a woman of knowledge, then we must make sure that we stay up with our mindset. Okay, if you are a woman of knowledge, it is important that we stay up with our mindset. So, with that being said, I do have 2 spots available for the Leadership Mastery Collective 6-week one-on-one program. Okay, I will leave the link in my bio for you to be able to look at the details, what you need to get enrolled, what are the requirements, and if you are a perfect fit for this program. Now, if you say, okay, I do want to work with you one-on-one, I do want some one-on-one assistance, don't hesitate to DM me. Okay, don't hesitate to DM me. I do also have a 1-day VIP session, so if you want that one as well, make sure you take a look at that. But again, don't feel free to DM me. Don't hesitate to DM me. Okay. I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. My notes kind of threw me off. I am definitely apologizing about that. My apologies. My notes definitely froze up on me, so I definitely had to try to remember some things from just the top of my knowledge, my little noggin. Okay, but we are almost done with the March live series. Tomorrow is the last day. So again, if you watch this entire live series, you sit here and binge watch every single live through this time of the month, then I really appreciate it. Okay, I hope you had some amazing notes. I hope you are going to implement them. Okay, I want to see you doing some things. I want to make sure that you are following me on my Facebook. Okay, make sure you're following me on my Facebook. I will say my Instagram business page, but Instagram then suspended our page. I have no clue why. I'm not bringing it back because of why. So make sure you follow me on my Facebook. Make sure that you get yourself booked and enrolled in any of my programs that you see yourself fit in. And I think we are done here.